Hi, this is Michael at TV Radio 1972, and today I am reviewing the QFX Retro-10 AM/FM shortwave portable radio. I bought it at a discount store in Paterson, New Jersey for $12.99 plus tax. It's also on eBay for $19.99. When I went to this store, I saw this radio and it looked pretty familiar. That's because it looks like this model from Panasonic. It's the RF 562D. Sometimes it's sold as a 562DD. Pretty much the same radio. This one is similar, except this one goes down to 5 megahertz on shortwave, while this one only goes down to 5.9. Otherwise, mostly the same. Except the one from Panasonic is between $35 and $40 on Amazon, while this one's between $13 and $20. But I figured, why not give this radio a try? So here's the package. I like how they did the packaging. QFX is always pretty good at that. Here's their logo, where the party begins. Some icons, picture of the radio, the model number, Retro-10, the price tag, and then on the bottom, you have their website and other information, qfxusa.com, their UPC symbol, and then I'm going to move this along. Picture of the radio here, and on this side, it shows the features in 3 languages. I'll read over the features because I don't think this will focus, so I'll just tell you what they are. AM/FM shortwave radio tuner, telescopic antenna, 3-inch built-in speaker, 3.5 millimeter headphone output jack, on-off volume control, radio tuning control, carry strap, and then there's AC and DC power. It runs on 2D batteries. Then there's the Spanish features, the French features, a diagram of the radio here, and a look at where they are in social media and other information. And then on the back, pretty much the same as the front, except a little more descriptive on the features. You can pause and look at that. And then on the top, their logo again. So I took everything out of the box and I'll show you what came with it. It came with an instruction manual, pretty basic, with another diagram of the radio and more features. Battery operation, radio operation, and then their warranty policy. And then the AC cord, which you can use to power the radio without batteries. Just to let you know, very little difference in reception between batteries and the AC cord. For AM and FM shortwave, I suggest batteries because this cord wipes out shortwave reception when I tested it. And then this carry strap, which I still have in the bag. I don't intend to use it, but if you want to attach it to your radio, that's fine. And here's the radio. So what I'm going to do first is give you size comparisons. First, the Sangean DT400W. You can fit about 3 of these in here. Just in case I forget to give you the time, 12:26 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time from the northeastern part of New Jersey, or 4 hours later UTC. And a QFX radio that I have reviewed before, the QFX R9. much smaller compared to this QFX. Spoiler alert, this one is better. I'm just saying. So, I'll give you the dimensions. 8 1/8 of an inch in length, 4.5 inches in height, and 2 1/8 of an inch in depth. Has a 20-inch antenna, and in that speaker grill, you can find the 3-inch speaker. It shows up better in person. And then I'll show you what's on the radio. First with the front. It has 3 bands, the FM, 80 to 108 megahertz, medium wave 530 to 1600 kilohertz, and yes, it only goes to 1600. And then the shortwave, which is between 5.9 and 18 megahertz. And then in the bottom, it has a band indicator. 60, 49, 41, 31, 25, 19, and 16 meter band. So there's a little indicator there. It is continuous from 5.9 to 18, no split in the band. You have this nice green strip here. A silver type of speaker grill with the QFX logo. Retro radio on the top right. And then you'll look down, you have your tuning wheel. Smooth. And then your on-off volume control power knob. Now, let's go to the left next. Just one spot where you put the carry strap. And then on the other side is the other side of the carry strap. And then your headphone jack. Headphone experience. It's mono, both ears. There is low-level hiss, so at low level you will hear hiss. And on high volumes, same thing with the speaker, it's distorted, so your best bet is to listen on low to medium volume. High volume, it gets distorted. We have a vented case in the back. Then you have your band selector switch. 3 bands. The QFX label here, you can pause and look at the information. Made in China. Then there's 2404, which means that's the date code for April 2024. So it was made almost a year ago. About a year ago, actually. AC jack to put your AC cord in. And then your battery warning. Caution, replace with fresh batteries of the same kind of serving polarity. And then there's this battery door that's not captured. I'm not going to open it because those batteries are hard to come in because the spring inside to hold those batteries are too long. But I will tell you that for the left battery, the positives go up, and the right battery, the positives go down. And there's also a switch inside, which you can switch between 220 to 110 volts. Then on the bottom, just 2 little feet to stand the radio. And on the top, the 2 places for your carry strap. And the 20-inch antenna, which is pretty stiff and does not swivel. So what I'm going to do next is get to some tuning. So I'll turn on. I just want to make sure I'm on FM. Yep, we're on FM. So I will turn it on and start tuning the bands. I'll have to be quick because of music. Because FM has a lot of music stations on there. WNYZLD 87.75 megahertz. That's the audio TV channel 6. It is rather distorted because it looks like the stepping is 0.1 megahertz or 100 kilohertz stepping. So that's why it sounds a little distorted. It airs Korean programming, by the way. I'll continue the scan.
Some local newscaster tells anywhere is she right now, and that's causing a bit of a slowgo there. And the ride in New Jersey is a pretty good one this morning. You got the sinkholes at an 80.
WINSFM New York City 1010 wins on 92.3 FM. Now you do notice that the stepping, it does steps. So this is a DSP radio. It's an analog scale, but it's a DSP radio in which you hear that mute-on tuning.
The upper level's fine. Traffic and transit every 10 minutes on the ones, breaking traffic alerts whenever they happen. I'm Jeff Jensen, 1010 wins on 92.3 FM.
For 14 countries. 8 sources did include Afghanistan, Yemen, Somalia, and Syria.
WNYC-FM New York City. It's airing the BBC World Service. That's 93.9 FM.
It's declaration of martial law. BBC News.
Live for God today.
¿Debe más de $5,000 al IRS? ¿Tienes miedo de contestar el teléfono o abrir el correo? El Servicio de Impuestos Internos exige que todos, incluidos los trabajadores indocumentados,
W252CS Palisades Park, New Jersey, which is basically the same Korean programming as 87.75. That's on 98.3.
To disentangle, the issue.
You're out there watching this.
But I had a plan, and yet the point is...
I supplicate right before I'm about to drown.
Your own? Reach out.
Killing me softly with...
Or at WQXR.org or on our mobile app.
WQXR 105.9 Newark, New Jersey. And that is all for FM. And it did very well on FM. I'm pretty impressed and when I tested it, it actually did better than a few of the other radios around because I got 56 stations, 44 okay to good and 12-week signals, so FM is good mainly for locals, but it can get some semi-locals as well, depending on the direction of the antenna. I was actually able to get Star 99.9 out of Bridgeport, Connecticut, New Jersey 101.5 out of Trenton, New Jersey, K104 Poughkeepsie, New York. So these stations are like 40, 50, 60 miles away. I was able to get them. Pretty good depending on the spot. So FM, I gotta say, very good. Now next, we're going to go to Shortwave.
Our Lord Jesus Christ has done it all for me. God told this prophet, my father told this prophet, ascending and descending.
Now, there is some overload from medium wave, even on telescopic antenna. That's unfortunate, especially with a station about 2 to 3 miles away, WFME 1560. Since they moved their transmitter to Clifton, now this is overloading on this receiver. It's usually WABC that's the problem.
Come to any Christian community. If you want to pull weeds, we'll pull weeds. Becoming more and more like Jesus Christ. In Acts chapter 23 and verse 11, Jesus speaks.
Not sure if that's WWCR or WBCQ. Not sure what that is. And that is it for shortwave. I only got a couple of stations. So the shortwave performance, mainly good for local, domestic, and, strong signals. Although I did hear an international station there. So I tried attaching a wire, it just got more overload. But like I said, I'm not in the best location for shortwave because of strong medium wave stations. But if you are maybe a little further than those transmitters, you probably get a better luck with the shortwave right here. So what I'm going to do next is the AM. So shortwave's okay. So let's go with the AM. And I'll put the antenna down, and I'm going... Just want to recheck the time for a second here. 12:39 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, northeastern part of New Jersey, 4 hours later UTC. So I'm going to tune the AM.
Now, did you tell me, did you say that you...
WMCA New York City 570.
All these, I'm so happy to not know these.
WFAN New York City 660.
Watching the show last night.
And inside the intestines now producing itself in her cavity.
Right.
So you're going to make it less, and it's going to be the same punishment depending on how much money you're making.
Come on, Michael.
What? Can you say something?
No, it doesn't pass the...
WABC New York 770.
I mean, come on. So because a person makes less money...
The promise...
rather than on the massacre itself. And it was important for me, and it's still...
urgently to leverage the heat potentials of this strait.
So why hasn't there been more movement on this? And to do that the way they did...
I wonder if that's 800 CKLW, Windsor, Ontario, Canada. It might be.
Exactly a year ago.
Well, I think that
And I think this is 820 WNYC, New York City.
In tariffs, and I mean some African countries.
CJBC 860, Toronto, Ontario, Canada.
Times you're drafting euros, and all this other stuff.
that we do every day at 1384 Shortwave.
Parks Foundation awarding Marine Park allowance $25,000 for restoration after the brush fires.
10-10 winds, WINS New York City.
Overnight low 37.
About the fiscal situation of our.
I did some
Differ. It was always, every time we look at a spider, it was always screaming and asking for.
WNSW 1430, Newark, New Jersey, relevant radio, although the transmitter is about 3 miles away from me.
I like to say to some of them, empowered man.
I think that's WFED, Washington, D.C.
And don't miss our completely reimagined bridal registry department. Join us for our engagement.
Represent those of BIN and its founding partners and employees.
I'm James C. Harris, and I have something to say. Social commentator Teray has put out a very alarming post stating that black men are not attending.
The
question is,
WRL, New York City, New York's BIN 1600.
Teray provides what he believes is the answer.
And that is all for the AM. Now, AM reception mainly good for locals and strong stations, although some of the 50,000 watt blowtorches at night can come in here. Now, when I tested the AM, I mean, it's selective enough. I mean, I was able to get 740, although I can get in another spot, not here. But anyhow, during the day, 25 stations, 21 okay to good, only 4 weak signals. And at night, 40 stations, 28 okay to good, and 12 weak signals. So, yeah, basically just okay on the AM, not very impressive at night. And there's another thing about this radio on the AM. It's 9 kilohertz stepping, and how can I tell? Because some strong stations didn't come in loud enough, and then others did. If you're about maybe 1 or 2 kilohertz off the actual frequency, if it's DSP tuned like that, yes, maybe it'll be louder, but if any farther than that, you notice that it's just not loud enough if it's off tuned. And you also heard a few birdie tones in there. So that's another thing about the AM performance. Now, as far as final thoughts are concerned, I'll tell you the good. The size is good. I like how it looks, has a nice retro look to it. FM reception's very good. And the runtime on batteries with 2Ds, you're going to get a very good runtime, even though I don't know exactly how much the runtime is. My mixed reviews is the AC cord, which does a good job on AM and FM, but the shortwave reception is wiped out. The audio, good for low to medium volume, but distorted on high volume. AM reception, good on locals and strong stations, bad on weak ones, tones and 9 kilohertz stepping. That's kind of mixed. And then the bad. The spring is too big inside the battery compartment, which makes it a hard time fitting in the batteries. The antenna does not swivel, so you really have to move the radio around to have reception. And of course, the shortwave reception overloading from strong medium wave stations, and mainly shortwave only good for local and domestic stations, although I think I got a station or two from outside the US, so it's possible, especially with that 20-inch antenna. So as far as a rating is concerned, I'll give it a 5 out of 10, which is 2.5 stars, which is the highest I've ever gave a QFX receiver. And the FM reception is what did it, and the look. Both this retro look and the FM reception, which got me to rate it a little higher than the other QFX receivers, but otherwise, the other stuff is just average to not so good. Now, would I recommend this radio? I can recommend it if you want a good FM receiver, a nice, good look to a receiver, and inexpensive. I can recommend it for that. And for medium wave, if you like local stations or if you're in a 9 kilohertz area of the world, if for 10 kilohertz, I don't recommend it. And then shortwave, I can't really recommend it too much either. So I'll give it a maybe recommendation overall. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Feel free to subscribe to my channel. Hit the bell notification to be informed on DXing videos, radio reviews, and other radio-related stuff. So have a good week, everyone. Stay safe, and God bless. Bye-bye.